Hi everyone, welcome to Carpe Diem Sailing. My name is Marco, I'm a Sail Canada cruising instructor, and in today's video we'll be talking about winches and how to handle them safely. Winch handling is a hard skill, and like many hard skills on a sailboat, there are different ways of achieving the objective. I want to start this video by saying that I believe in a supportive learning environment. As a student myself, I have often felt resentful when an instructor forces me to learn and perform a skill according to their specific preferences. So in my videos, please do not feel that since I'm a certified instructor that it is my way or the highway. The techniques that I share in my instructional videos are founded on 20+ years of experience, as well as universally accepted practices. They are based on safety and efficiency, and I hope that they will work for you and enhance the pleasure of sailing for you. However, if you've been shown a different method, and it works for you, and is safe and efficient, then I'm good with that. Certainly there are situations where these practices will be modified appropriately. A good example is seen here on this fully crewed race boat. Ordinarily, on a short-handed cruising boat, the rule is to not leave handles in the winches, as they can create a tripping hazard. But as you can see, the two trimmers are standing by at their winches, and since most crew on a race boat have a specific task and position assigned, there are fewer crew moving about the boat. So in this situation, the handles in the winches is acceptable, but for most cruisers, best practice is to remove and stow the handles. With that out of the way, let's start by defining a few terms specific to handling winches on a sailboat. Tailing. Simply put, tailing is pulling on a line that has been wrapped around a winch. Winches work on friction. Tailing with multiple wraps around the winch anchors the line on the winch, allowing it to do its work. Grinding. To turn the winch using a winch handle. More on grinding coming up. A riding turn or override. This is a jam caused by the line crossing over itself. There are generally two main reasons for this happening, and both are easily avoided. I will talk a bit about how to prevent an override later in this video, but I will be doing a video on overrides and how to deal with them in the future. Easing. To let a line out slowly and under control. Casting off. To release the line quickly by throwing the line off the winch. Now we'll talk briefly about the different types of winches. This is a single-speed, non-self-tailing winch. Simplest and cheapest, they have the least mechanical advantage, and they're commonly used for halyards, outhauls, and reefing lines. This is a single-speed, self-tailing winch. It still has the least mechanical advantage, but the device on top of the winch tails the line so the grinder can use two hands on the handle. Much more convenient than tailing by hand, especially for single-handed or short-handed crews. Two-speed self-tailing. This winch has gearing incorporated so that by grinding in one direction, you get a high gear. Then by grinding in the opposite direction, you get a lower gear with much more mechanical advantage. The next thing we're going to do is break winch handling down into segments to isolate specific important technical details. We will end the video by showing the entire skill in live time as we work through a tack. We're going to start off with casting the line off the winch. We do this when tacking or coming about. The sail has to move across the boat quickly, so we want to release the line from the winch all at once. Preparation is key. The helm will say something like, "ready to come about." At this point, the trimmer holds the wraps tightly against the drum, not letting them slip, and removes the line from the self-tailer. In the case of a non-self-tailing winch, the line is removed from a cleat. The next step is to keep the tail of the line away from the winch. Tension is maintained with one hand, and with the other hand, the tail is kept back and out of the way. Timing is important, and the trimmer is watching the luff of the headsail. As soon as it starts to luff, the line is cast off all at once. As you can see from the slow motion clip, the line has to be thrown off like a skipping rope so that it doesn't hang up on the self-tailer. The line is then left to run free. Casting a line off a non-self-tailing winch is much easier. You simply pull straight up and let go. Notice how I wrap the line with one hand and keep my fingers out of the way. I will cover this technique in greater detail in a few minutes. Often you will be pulling the slack out of the line with little load on it. Best practice is to have a single wrap around the winch as you pull the slack out of the line. There are two reasons for this. First, you can verify that you wrap the line around the winch in the right direction, since the drum will be spinning. And second, you will be ready to quickly add wraps as needed to increase the friction on the line as the load comes onto the line. Why only a single wrap at first? It might appear that more wraps would be better, and indeed this is a common practice, but it will increase your risk of an override. You'll notice also that I am looking up at the sail, not down at the winch. As the sail fills with wind, the load comes on the line very suddenly, and you have to be ready to add at least 2 more wraps in order to have enough friction on the drum to prevent the line from slipping. In this demonstration, it looks like I'm close to an override, but as the tension comes on, the line will seat properly. The inset shows a properly wrapped winch. I'll go over that demonstration one more time, more slowly so that you can more easily see the details. You will notice that in this case, my left hand is doing the wrapping with a closed fist. I keep my hand sliding along the line and keep my hand away from the winch. At no time do I use my fingers to guide the line onto the winch. My right hand keeps the tail out of the way. I encourage you to do what I'm doing here, practicing in the cockpit with no load on the line. This will develop your muscle memory. This is important since this particular technique is not normally intuitive to most people. A single-speed winch can be ratcheted back and forth, but this should not be done on a 2-speed winch. You should grind on high speed at first, and then when the effort becomes too much, switch directions and grind on low speed. Notice my body position. Ergonomically, I'm in a well-braced position, out of the load path, behind the winch, and can use my arm and core muscles effectively. As mentioned earlier, in a short-handed cruising boat, winch handles are stowed when not in use. My rule is, if your hand comes off the handle goes in the pocket. When fine adjustments to a line need to be made, it is important to maintain the friction on the drum and release the line slowly, as needed, under control. The line is removed from the self-tailer or cleat, but the wraps stay on the drum and the line is eased. In this demonstration, I have my hand wrapped around the drum, and as I pay out the line in my right hand, the left hand keeps tension on the wraps. Alternatively, and more traditionally, the tension on the wraps is maintained with a flat hand on the side of the drum. Either way, the takeaway here is make sure there are sufficient wraps on the drum, maintaining enough friction to easily control the load. Now let's look at the whole maneuver from start to finish in real time. Notice the pause here. As looking forward, I wait for the sail to blow across to my side of the boat. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have subscribed and would like to be notified of new releases, make sure to click the little bell icon next to the subscribe button. And why not check out our website for more comprehensive online courses. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I wish you all fair winds and following seas. See you again soon for episode 13 and part 5 of our Learn to Sail series, where we talk about how sails work.